This week on the StressLess Camping RV Podcast, we're revisiting 5 smaller, high-quality travel trailers that we saw recently.
Wait. We got a couple of bonus models, too.
Oh, 6? Wait.
We'll see.
Well, we'll find out how many. We're visiting some smaller, high-quality trailers that we saw recently. These small couples campers offer a lot of functionality in a smaller size. Some of them might not be on your radar, but if you're shopping for a small travel trailer, maybe they should be. We have this week's podcast along with notes and stories to go with it, and discounts, deals, helpful tips, and more at our home on the web at StressLessCamping.com.
Hey, don't forget to like and share, and thank you for joining us for podcast episode 332.
StressLess Camping.
I'm Tony.
I'm Peggy.
And we're 2 RV industry veterans who travel part-time
In a Rockwood mini light.
Looking to share big adventures and help you with great tips,
Tricks.
and discounts.
We are experimenting a little bit right now. It looks like we're in 2 different places, but we're actually in the same house.
Yeah, we're just down the hall from one another.
Yeah, but I'm going to be gone for a couple of weeks visiting my mom, and I don't want to miss out on being part of the podcast during those couple weeks. So we're playing around with recording from separate spots with separate computers. Now, maybe it'll be easier when we're 600 miles apart, but since we're 6 feet apart, there's a weird delay for us. And so if we are hesitant or laughing at one another, it's because we're struggling a little bit with this technology.
Yeah,
but
well,
we're trying we're going to get it right.
to be honest, our home internet is terrible.
Yeah.
And we, as you may know, we live out in the desert, but I'm too cheap to fire up the Starlink dish while we're here because all of our cameras and stuff are on this network, and it's not very fast and it's not very good, and it's cheap, and that's why we use it. And since we're not here much, it actually kind of usually works out. We usually don't try to record 2 video podcasts from
at the same time.
Yeah. So
yeah.
Anyway, it is what it is.
Anyway, so this will be a fun episode to get through, and then by next week we should have all this ironed out.
Or not.
Or not. Who knows?
Yeah.
Anyway, next week we'll be together because we will be at the Romp It Up Music Festival with the Border Hookups, and we will not only be sitting in the same room together to record, or the same trailer, but we'll also be off-grid.
Yeah, and the way we're pulling that off is with our Master Volt power system from ABC Upfitters. This is a system, there's stuff to plan for when you go on a trip, but this system, it's just out there. The fridge is running right now. We don't even think about it. We just basically hitch up and go and know that we can be camping off the grid and just having a great time without that being a concern of ours.
Right. So we're busy, figuring out what we're going to eat and what we're going to make for potlucks and what we're going to wear and what we're going to do and what instruments Tony might want to play during open mic night. We don't need to be figuring out what we're going to do for power, and we don't have to worry about that.
No, but it's a great system, and we've been really pleased with it and just used the heck out of it. And if you would like a system tailored for the way you camp that you really don't have to be worried about, our friends at ABC Upfitters are the people to know. And you can reach them at 574-333-3225.
That's 574-333-3225. Or there should be a QR code somewhere. You can check out the other information that we have on our website about ABC Upfitters.
Absolutely. Well, we have 5 small, high-quality trailers with a few bonuses thrown in as well. But I think it's first, how do we determine that a trailer is high quality? And this is something, go ahead.
I think that's important to say. There are many, 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 many small trailers out there, and that's fine. And these are not necessarily all the good ones, but these are 5 good ones or 5 or more good ones that we have actually got to touch and feel lately, and that that we know to be good quality. So tell us where you start to determine good quality.
Always at the suspension and chassis. I always look at there are a lot of trailers that use simple leaf spring suspensions and those off-brand tires and no tire pressure monitor and all of that. And to me, that if a company cares so little about your experience that they're going to put those off-brand tires and lousy suspension, and that's so obvious, how are they going to do with things that are kind of hidden behind walls and under floors and that kind of stuff? So I always start at the suspension and tires and work my way up. And I know a lot of people walk in. I've heard a lot of people say, "Oh, I really love the cabinets in this." Okay, but over time, what's under the trailer matters almost more than what's in the trailer because everybody
Right.
modifies what they buy.
Well, sure. Yeah, don't go by, the color of the shower curtain or even the color of the mini blinds for that matter. Those things are really easy to change. The suspension is not so easy to change.
No, no, that's for sure. We also have a podcast with Josh, the RV nerd, about how RVs are built. And we did that one a while back. It's episode 75. And of course, as always,
Mm,
we will put a link in the show notes so you can find it more easily.
right. So that is going to talk about not only the suspension, but the construction methods that different companies use. And some of those construction methods are the reason that they got on this list or didn't get on this list, some of those brands.
That's true. Something else that we talk about when you're RV shopping is to absolutely find a high quality, locally owned dealer first. Um, because the caliber of the dealership and their service department make a lot of difference in your overall experience, and we have
Yes.
a full article about how to find a great locally owned dealership. It makes all the difference in the world. So
Yes.
we also have full reviews linked in the show notes here for each of these trailers. I believe all of them we have videos for.
Okay.
So that's another thing to look for.
All right. So let's start with GeoPro maybe. GeoPro
Yep.
is a Rockwood brand, a Forest River Rockwood brand. And we're going to look today at the G20BHT.
Now, Rockwood also has a G20BHS, which is
Oh,
it's similar but not. How's that? But
okay.
the GeoPro have been smaller single axle trailers that are more kind of off-grid ready. They found themselves a big hit with smaller trailers that offer a lot of top-notch features and top-notch build methods and things like that. And, typically the smaller trailers in a line are kind of the cheaper ones that offer fewer quality features. And Rockwood's like, no, we're going to build as good a trailer. We're just going to build it smaller with a single axle. And they just found a huge hit with that. Well, we found that Rockwood now is offering some 2-axle versions in the GeoPro line.
Yeah.
And this is one of them.
Funny thing, when we very first got our first mini light, when we really first started with travel trailers, we had a single axle, but it wasn't a GeoPro, it was a mini light. And then by the time we were shopping again, the single axles were all the GeoPros. And if you wanted 2 axles or if you wanted a mini light, you got 2 axles. If you wanted 2 axles, you got a mini light. And
Yeah.
now that's not even the break off point anymore. Now I have to think of a different way to break them off.
Just
I
by
think
name.
it's 21 feet. I think that's the way to do the mini lights now, 21 to 25 feet.
Okay. The funny thing is, I heard from Rockwood that the floor plan we had, which was a 1905 Murphy bed in the front, it had a dinette on the campsite, a kitchen on the roadside, and the bathroom across the back. It didn't sell well, but then when it
Mm,
became a GeoPro, it sold like hotcakes.
yeah,
So,
funny. So this one's a little bit similar to that, right?
sort of, kind of, yeah. This one
Sort of, kind of,
has
in that it has a Murphy bed up front, I guess.
right, and what they've done is something really different. The Murphy bed, typically there was a couch under so when you folded down the Murphy bed, there was a couch there, and instead they put a little dinette, and that dinette has a table that's like on a pole with a strut in it, and something I loved about that table is it kinda moved around on that pole, so it
Right.
was fat dude approved. Or I don't
Yes.
know, that's probably not politically correct, right? It was probably a chunky dude approved.
Oh, okay. It was kind of,
Yeah,
I think you referred to
fluffy.
it as a Ouija board table because the tabletop itself moved back and forth and side to side. So if you wanted to, not in this dinette, but in other dinettes that they're using the similar table leg, if you sat on the back of a U dinette, you could push the table out a little bit so that there's a little more room in the back. But if you didn't have anyone on that back section, you could push it, kind of all the way against the seat cushions and have a little more room on the outer side. And this table does all those things, but the back seat doesn't exist.
Right. Another thing I really liked is you could set the table to any height in the range that it goes up and down. So it's on that hydraulic pole, and
Hmm.
you could raise it however high you want. So you could have it like desk height or eating height, whatever,
Right.
and it just stops there, which I thought was really neat.
Yeah, I am a big fan of that new table leg.
Yeah,
And I think that's across the whole Rockwood GeoPro Rockwood line. Is that right?
might be, yeah. I also like, well, so the floor plan is there's a Murphy bed in front. Now the good thing is Rockwood does good Murphy beds that the beds don't have to bend. The bad thing
Yes.
on this is it's a small trailer, so it's a 54-inch by 74-inch Murphy bed, and it's east-west. So basically, somebody's sleeping against the front wall. And for some people, that's not a big deal, right? For some people, it's a total big deal. So that could be a deal breaker. Some people don't like Murphy beds at all. So they offer a number of floor plans, but this one we saw as a new floor plan when we were at open house, and I thought it was kind of neat.
Yeah, so I either didn't realize or forgot that it is an east-west Murphy bed. So that's why the length is limited, but the width also is kind of limited. However, that's good because you can put the slide in with the bed down, right?
Yeah, I believe you can, and
Okay.
that's so it is boondocking overnight approved.
Yeah,
It
or I should say you
also
can put the bed down even if the slide's still in.
Yeah, or you could, I mean, if you don't want the Murphy bed at all, you could just leave it down all the time. So,
Is it okay to travel with that Murphy bed down?
I think so, because now they put a latch when it's down.
Okay.
I believe it is, and of course, that's one where you'd absolutely want a RV super bag. We have a story about that RV super
Oh,
bag,
sure. Yeah.
but yeah, that makes those Murphy beds totally functional.
Okay, sorry I interrupted. So,
Oh, that's okay. So in the back, there's small single over single bunks. So that's cool. But I know a few people who I sold trailers to basically used those bunk beds on smaller trailers for storage.
right.
I know at least two who also used it for like a cat area.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Yeah.
So it doesn't have to be for kids.
Right. Maybe you have one child that travels with you, so they like the really high up bunk bed, and you can have the whole bottom for the cat or the dog or the storage, or vice versa.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Or if you travel with a skunk, whatever.
Whatever. And then in the middle, But between the Murphy bed in the front and the bunk beds in the back, in the middle, there is a slide, and you have a choice there of a sofa or a theater seats, right?
I believe so, yeah. And then the kitchen in this is pretty small, as you would expect it to be. Uses a two-burner propane stove and convection air fryer microwave. So that's kind of cool.
Actually, I think I'm wrong about the theater seats. I just looked at the floor plan. That was another one that we'll talk about later.
Ew. Ew. Okay. Outside, I like that this uses those Lippert quick drop stabilizers. Um, Back inside, bouncing around, the bathroom I thought was a little bit small, but certainly usable. And the way that it's usable, it has a sink in the bathroom that kind of flips down. So if you don't want to use the main kitchen sink, the bathroom has like this flip down feature, so there's no sink if it's flipped up and a sink if it's flipped down.
Oh,
So
okay.
there you go.
So that makes it a little more spacious if you're getting out of the shower or using the toilet or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Or if you just are like, I'll just use this kitchen sink to wash my hands or whatever. Something else that we glossed over, this does use torsion axle suspension. It uses the tire pressure monitoring system standard, and it has those balancing beads in the tire that helps to, so a lot of pieces that really help smooth out the ride in this thing, which is a good thing. I mean,
Yeah.
something goofy, at least to me, this uses a voice activated control panel. So you can you can just touch the control panel if you want, or you can use your phone, or you can use voice and you say, "Hey, Power Pro." And truthfully, I found this system is about as
Touchy.
it listens as well as the devil that lives in my phone. How's that?
And that phone being the Apple phones. So we don't say her name because she's always listening and she'll try
Oh,
to
yeah.
respond. But yeah, she doesn't always listen. Sometimes she says, I don't know who the heck you are.
Oh my gosh.
Well, anyway, yeah. So
Yeah.
another thing that, about Rockwoods in general, Rockwoods, GeoPros, mini lights, they have features like the shower miser is in
Oh,
all their
yeah.
units, right? And so
Uh-huh.
if you're, especially if you're boondocking a lot, or you maybe you're hooked up to water, but you're not hooked up to sewer, and you don't want to fill your gray tank too quickly, you can use the shower miser to keep the water from filling the gray tank. And that, if you're boondocking and you're also trying to conserve water, that's good. Then that water, without arguing with anybody,
Oren.
that water ends up ends up in the fresh tank, whether it's supposed to or not. And then it's still available for use. It didn't get wasted into the gray tank right away.
Yep. There's also a Flagstaff. So Rockwood and Flagstaff are the same product, different stickers. There is a Flagstaff version of this. So if your local dealer carries Flagstaff, then
It will
look
be
for
an
that.
ePro, not a
It would
GeoPro.
be an ePro.
Yeah. Okay, so next up is we're going to stick with Forest River a little longer, and we're going to go with the NoBo 18.2 with beast mode.
Yes. So NoBo or No Boundaries was kind of, once Forest River figured out, oh my gosh, we're selling kind of small, high quality travel trailers like nobody's business. They founded both No Boundaries, NoBo, and Ibex, and they're in some ways the same product and in some ways not. But
Okay.
when we were at open house, we stumbled across this NoBo 18.2, and it very specifically with the beast mode. What the beast mode is Kurt, which is part of Lippert, their independent coil suspension system. And as I said, shop from the ground up. Well, this thing has a remarkable suspension, but it's an option. So standard, you just get a lousy leaf spring suspension. And if you don't travel much, let's say you use this for seasonal or whatever, all right, then leaf spring suspension is fine.
Sure.
But if you do a fair amount of traveling, the difference that this good suspension makes is night and day. And we actually, I will put a link to it. We got to ride in fifth wheels with leaf spring suspensions and then Kurt's coil suspension. What a difference.
Yeah.
We did a video about that. And this
Yeah.
has, as an option, Kurt's independent suspension.
Okay.
And what we like, this is a small single axle, no slide travel trailer. And typically that's like, oh gosh, it's going to be really small and crowded.
Right.
No, they did a super job with this.
Yeah. Yeah, they did. Now, this is one that you can choose either a sofa or a theater seat. But that's kind of in the middle. We should try to be somewhat logical. So start in the front.
So one of the things that's going to be polarizing is, again, this is an east-west bed. And so some of you, that's an immediate disqualification. And I understand that. You have to shop based on what you like. But if this is something that doesn't bother you, then this has an east-west bed, which gives you more space inside.
And it's not a Murphy bed. It's a full-time bed, right?
Right. It's a proper bed.
Okay.
So from there, on the campsite, you get like a dining bar. And that dining bar is under a really large window. And this is one of those European style windows that's a dual pane window that it flips up. So it's hinged at the top, but it flips up like 90 degrees. And then there is a integrated shade and bug screen. And so you can pull the shade down if you want, or pull the bug screen up if you want, or neither. And then you can have as like a pass through from the inside to the out. And outside, this has a flat top propane griddle and a little table that slide into like a rail on the side. So you could literally almost have like a walk up dinner service situation.
Yeah. Yeah, this is it's very cool from the standpoint of just not even thinking about dinner, but thinking about that as a workspace. You flip that table up and you're sitting, with your laptop right here, but this giant window right here. So I don't know how you get any work done because you're always just going to be staring out the window.
Yeah.
But it's a great window for all those things. Like it's a lot of light, it's a lot of airflow. It can be wide open so you can pass things back and forth. You could open a food truck maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, you could be the campground gourmet. And then it does only have a 2-burner propane stove and a convection air fryer microwave. So you're not cooking that big a meal, but most of these smaller trailers, that's pretty typical.
Sure. Yeah. And you've got that outside griddle too. So you
Yeah.
can cook a lot of your food outside and you don't have to go up and down the stairs to go and get the ketchup that you forgot. You can just have someone pass it to you through the window.
Yep, that's the fact. Yeah, so I thought that was kind of neat. I was surprised at how roomy this trailer felt because it does not have a slide. So
Yeah.
as you said, I mean that, again, part of it is that east-west bed in the front, but that dinette and then, or not dinette, that like bar table thing. And then opposite is that as a couch that's like a theater couch with flip up footrests. I dug this little trailer.
Yeah. Then you've got a rear kitchen, which isn't
Yep.
very big, but again, you've got the outside kitchen. So if you're into using the outside kitchen anywhere, or the outside cooker, cooktop, it's not really a kitchen, right? But if you're into that outdoor cooking, then the inside doesn't really matter, but it is just like half of the back wall.
Yeah. Yeah. And the other half is the bathroom. And the bathroom wasn't bad in this. Again, for the size of this rig,
For the
it
size,
was
yeah.
pretty good.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of the bathroom, something I noticed was, so we'll put a link to this guy, Jacob Rigger, and his complaints about RV plumbing. And one of his biggest complaints is using PEX clamps on flexible hoses. And he has made enough of a stink that he is actually he is empowering change in the RV industry. And this still uses PEX clamps on flex hoses, which are almost a guarantee leak. And so boo on NoBo for that, but maybe they'll change. Truthfully, Rockwood has changed their plumbing. Ember has
Uh-huh.
changed their plumbing because of Jacob Rigger. A few others have changed their plumbing. This guy's making a big impact, and I'm happier for it because we have had PEX clamps on flex hoses leak,
Yep.
and this has that. So there's that and the east-west bed, I think, are the downside for these.
Okay. So let's leave Rockwood for a moment. I mean, let's leave Forest River for a moment and let's go on a safari. I mean, in a safari.
So we're going to go up to Canada. And when we were at open house, we were wandering around through the vendors, and I saw a lady there, and she had a shirt from Safari Condo, which is a Canadian RV maker that I've looked at for years and thought, oh, they make such cool stuff. So I asked her, oh, do you know if Safari Condo is here? She said yes, and told me where it was. That was Dominique Nudow, who's the head of Safari Condo. I didn't even
Oh,
realize. So anyway, so we went over
it's a
and I
good thing she knew the answer then.
yeah, I don't know where my stuff is. So this was their first year at open house. What we're looking at is the Safari Condo Ultra F2414.
It's a lot of words for a little trailer.
And this is bigger than the last two that we looked at. But
Okay.
Safari makes their walls very differently. So while both the NoBo and the Rockwood that we just looked at use like an aluminum skeleton, and it's all laminated together, which means glued. So it's fiberglass outside, a wallboard inside, and then some insulation and the aluminum. This is very different. It's an aluminum outside and inside, and like a honeycomb type of thing. And so it's really, really light. And to show how light this thing is, it weighs less than 3,000 pounds, which is very
Wow.
light. Yeah.
Okay.
What I liked about it is that up at the front, it has like a small dinette and a huge window, and the huge window kind of opens up almost like a clamshell, and it's one of those dual pane windows again with the integrated shades and bug screens. The counter in this, a lot of drawers and a big cabinet, so there was good
Yeah.
storage. And the sleeping is unusual. So at the back of the trailer are two benches effectively. So there are couches during the day, but then that's also where the bed is at night. So the benches are the bed. So you could do like the I Love Lucy, you each get your own bed type of thing. Apparently, these twin bed trailers are very popular. But
Sure.
if you want a king size bed, there's a like a platform that goes between the two side cushions, so it makes the whole back of the trailer a king size bed.
Alternatively, you can also lower from the ceiling I believe it's also a king or a queen size bed that can come down. Now, I suppose if you lower it far enough, you just take the place of the lower beds, but you could also kind of turn that into a big bunk.
It only goes so far because
Oh,
it's designed, it's an option. So they have a second
oh,
bed that's kind of on a lift and it
okay,
comes down. So then now you could sleep four people in the back, but that's an option. And it was not in the unit I saw.
okay. And then the front, though, the front dinette also turns into a bed. So you could sleep like six people in this, right?
Yeah, if you buy that
Yeah.
optional bed, then yeah, or you just could do 4 probably if it's just without that optional drop down king.
Uh-huh.
So that's kinda cool.
Or you just leave the dinette all the time and you have a
Yeah,
dinette in the front and twin beds in the back,
yeah,
and you don't have room
absolutely.
for other people.
And don't tell them it makes into a dinette.
That's right.
Another thing about that bed in the back, there's sort of a halo of cabinets all the way around it. So a lot of cabinet space, a lot of windows, and they're those dual pane windows that hinge from the top and flip up and have the shades and bug screens built in. Here's
Uh-huh.
something. It did not have, and I know some of you love the solid steps. Peggy and I do not like the solid steps.
Well, I like the solid part of the solid steps. I don't like putting the solid steps inside the camper.
Right. So this had more traditional trailer steps, and they felt solid to me. So it's proof that it can be done. You don't have
Right,
to
right.
do what everybody's doing and have those stupid solid steps that I don't like.
Right. Now you're working in and out right now. There's a couple more things we wanted to say on the inside, and then we'll go back outside to the
Yeah.
suspension. But there's 12-volt fans.
Yeah, and they're not like in the ceiling. They're, sort of like desk fans built into the wall that I thought was cool.
And it does have kind of a small water tank.
So on the subject of the water tank, there's a few things that I think some people will absolutely not like about this.
Okay.
The small water tank, as you said. The shower is it's a separate, so there's a toilet room that's the toilet and the sink and has a door, of course. And then the shower is a glass door and it exits right into the main body of the trailer. So if you're at all shy, you're in the shower and there's just that glass door between you and the rest of the trailer.
And then you step out of the shower right in, not into a bathroom, but just into the main part
Right,
of the
right into
trailer.
the main body of the trailer. So
Right. So if you're
and it's
alone
a
or a
glass
married
door,
couple,
so if you wanna be,
yeah.
want an audience, there's that.
Okay, so I think that was everything that you had written down for the inside.
Yeah, outside again, it's got sort of a torsion style suspension, and this company sells most of their RVs direct, so you can have the factory set it kind of in the higher setting or the lower setting, which is interesting.
And is that for the height of your vehicle? Your tow
Well, it's
vehicle?
the total height of the trailer, so if you have it higher, then it's less aerodynamic, uh, but you have more ground clearance.
Oh, the suspension. So the actual height of the overall trailer itself would change.
Right. Oh, and this company also actually tests their RVs in a wind tunnel, apparently. Not something most people do. Now, there's something you really
Yeah. Okay. Back inside real quick.
yeah.
I understand why they look like this because of the construction method, but I'm not a giant fan of the interior. Like the lower cabinets are a wood grain look. The upper cabinets and the walls are all like the white metal, right? They're the
Yeah,
part
the
of the
aluminum.
frame itself, part of the yeah. And it's just not a look that I love. So it wouldn't really necessarily stop me from buying one, but I think I would probably uh maybe go to Spoonflower and get some removable wallpaper that I could just kind of warm up or soften those walls a little bit for the feel. To me, that like aluminum walls feel cold and impersonal and hospital like or something.
Well, like an Airstream.
Yeah, yeah. And I know that it's a look you really like and it's not my favorite look. But again, it wouldn't stop me from buying the quality. It just is something that I would probably work on making feel warmer to me.
Yeah, yeah, that's I don't disagree with you. I think, like, taking that aluminum interior and at least putting some, like, stick-on wallpaper, and there's that Spoonflower stuff that
Yeah.
it can be changed. It's sort of like a sticky note type
Yeah.
material. That wouldn't be too bad in here. I think that would warm it up nicely, and then you could even change it seasonally if you're crazy.
If you really wanted to, I love to put on wallpaper. But I think it would be pretty easy because you're not, you're just putting it on aluminum. You're not putting it on like some kind of wood grain or some kind of, wallpaper wood grain. I know that
Yeah.
not everything that looks like wood is wood, but you know.
Right, right. A lot of it is that, uh, oh, I forgot that
Yeah, I can't
wrapped
remember what it's called.
sticker board, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, a legit concern about these, and for example, our friends Mike and Lisa had a trailer from this company. Um, the insulate since there's not really insulation, there's the aluminum outer wall, the aluminum
Mm.
inner wall, and this honeycomb. It's these things are hot in the summer and cold in the winter. And
Ooh.
so the insulation is not that great on them. And Dominique was saying, she's like, yeah, we're actually looking at kind of changing that or seeing what we can do about it.
Oh,
So
okay.
if you're in Texas or Minnesota, maybe these, although they make them in Canada and sell them. So
Yeah, maybe this is very seasonal, a
yeah,
very, you only want to go where the weather suits your insulation.
right. Now the next one, I'm going to spend some of your money for you. And this was something I just saw. I've seen it in the past. I was just back at Ember again not too long ago, and it's the Ember Overland 190 MSL. And I will warn you, this thing's expensive. It's, I think, MSRP. It's a single axle trailer. It's like 77,000 MSRP.
Wow.
So I ain't cheap.
Ember does have different levels, right? They have their touring line, which is really designed for long trips on the road. They have their Overland series, which is really built for off-roading, and they have their, I can't remember what it's called.
The E series are the essential, which are the most affordable Embers. And actually, typical Ember, the company, all of their decision makers are also RVers. So
Mhm.
this, even their touring edition, even their E series, which is the most affordable, are not lousy, right? They are
Right,
still
right.
a good, well equipped trailer with things that will make sense.
Yeah.
The Touring Edition got a complete reboot. Touring Edition is more of a longer distance. It's the E series, but it has the Kurt Touring Coil suspension. So that's one of the big upgrades it got is a new suspension system. And then there's Overland. And Overland was designed as, it really has kind of defined the overlanding trailer in the US, and they're very similar to some of the trailers we've seen from Australia. So this has the Kurt independent suspension, which again is the best suspension, in my opinion, for a towable.
Mhm.
The way Ember builds these things is totally different. So typically, trailers are kind of screwed together and there's a seam tape put on and all of that. Ember uses a different way of building the corners, and then there's a extruded aluminum edges that they call brush guards, but that are uh it's so much better in how it's built in terms of longevity. And there's no insert molding, which is this plastic molding that goes over the screws that
Okay.
you have to replace after 2 years or 3 years.
Sure. Yeah.
So
Because
no
that's just
insert
like a
molding.
plastic, like a
It
piece of
yeah.
plastic, right? Yeah. That's going to be out there in the sun. It's not going to last forever.
Nope. Like most of these, they have the key to like where one key opens the baggage doors and all of that. One of the things only Ember does, to my knowledge, and this is our buddy Christopher Barth, it's his idea. At the top in the back, there are marker lights. Typically you see the 5 lights. Well, there are 7 on an Ember, and the 2 additional lights are actually turn signal lights. So you have the turn signals at the bottom, and you have marker lights that flash at the top. So you
Oh,
have an extra measure of safety, which is cool.
and only one side flash. They're turn signals, like
Correct. Yeah, they're
indication.
just turn
Okay.
signals. There's a lot of that kind of thinking in this trailer. This is a small, no slide, single axle trailer. They do make other variations of the Overland series. This one, the 190 MSL, is a bunk model. And it has, again, a Murphy bed at the front. And it's the east-west Murphy bed. So that means there's a couch by day, Murphy bed by night.
So that fold-down Murphy bed, if it's an east-west, and I know that the type of Murphy bed that Ember uses usually has a folded mattress, does that mean that the mattress is folded kind of down the middle? So it's almost like two mattresses, two twin beds stuck together a little bit more?
Yeah, I guess, sort of, kind of.
That might even be better than having it fold in the middle of your body.
Yeah, might be. And over that bed, Ember's Overland series have the Stargazer window, which is a dual pane window. And again, it flips up, has the shades and the bug screen built into it. This also has a couch on the camp side. But here is the coolest thing about the Ember, the MSL series. In the back, it's got what could be double over double bunks. And the bunks are like a platform that slot into this rail system. And you could take that rail system and take the bunks out. You could make it single over single. You could use that for cargo carrying while you're towing. You can use it to hang a hammock. And it's something Ember calls Ember Track, but it's an adjustable standard shelving, for lack of a better description, system that you can change on the fly, and it's super flexible, and only Ember has it. And it just makes this thing absolutely brilliant because there's so many different. Oh, go ahead.
That Ember Track, like you're saying, it's so many different possibilities. We've looked at it and, fantasized about a desk at the lower level and then storage, instead of a bunk, have a storage above the top for added storage. The good thing also about that track is, you can take those beds or desks or whatever out of the way. And does this one have, I assume it has like the big back door on the back so that
It
you
does.
can ride your bicycle in and store your bicycles inside?
Yeah, and there are tie downs for cargo too. So you could put in kayak or bicycles or whatever. But here's another thing that's back there. There are washer and dryer hookups in this space. So if you don't want to use that for storage and you want a washer dryer, it's back there. Which,
Wow.
yeah, and it's just so much flexibility in this area. Another thing, when I was looking at that, I was like, "Oh gosh, imagine, when I was a kid, I may or may not have been a big pain in the neck. I'm still a pain in the neck. I'm just older now. But if I were laying in that bunk and I looked over and there are faucet valves, I'm going to turn them on, right? So Ember puts a shutoff at every fixture in their trailers so that's two benefits. One is if there's some sort of a failure, like let's say a faucet breaks or whatever, you can just shut that fixture off and keep on camping on. That's
Right.
also true of the washer dryer hookups. There are auxiliary shutoff valves behind a panel. So uh, if little Johnny is the true pain in the neck that little Tony was, you can circumvent his turning on a faucet and letting the water run out.
That's good. We need
Yep.
preventions against little Tonys and little Johnnies.
Yes, indeed. Lastly, the Ember is one of the few trailers where they will take all their trailers, not each one built, but each model, to Truma, and Truma has a climate chamber where they actually test the trailers down from 0 degrees to 110 degrees, and there are different ratings you get based on your performance in being able to recover from a cold or from cold to hot, that sort of thing.
From a cold.
Yeah, from a cold. Ember got the gold certification, which is their highest rating. So these are actually tested. You get a lot of trailers where they say, "Oh, this has got, Climate Max and it's 4-season capable." Well, Ember has the proof that yes, they are.
They really are.
A lot of things that are Again, not the cheapest trailer, but you get what you pay for.
Sure, yeah. Okay, so we promised you 5, so here's number 5. This is going to be back to the Rockwood line, and this is a 2108 RB.
And it's a mini light.
Yeah, it's a mini light. I think there's a few different 2108s, but we're going to talk about the RB.
Well, the 2108, one of the differences between the mini light and the GeoPro is the mini light is a full 8-foot wide. So that's one of the advantages. This is not a bunkhouse, but it's a couples camper. And it features that same dinette in the front under the Murphy bed. So you have the 2 seats and you have the table that moves around, and you can mash that down and you get a Murphy bed. And in this case, the Murphy bed is 60 by 74.
An RV Queen. RV
Yeah,
Queen.
it's a
So
RV
it's a full 60
Queen-ish.
wide, and it's north-south. It's not an east-west bed.
Correct. This one does have a slide, and in that slide is a theater seat. And in that theater seat, it's a wider theater seat. So between the 2 sides is like an induction charger for a phone or something like that.
When you say theater seats, like, I don't know if people know this, but theater seats range, theater seat being like two bottoms, 2 seats, and maybe with some kind of a flip down console in the middle where maybe you get a third small body. But theater seating other than that ranges everywhere from like 60 inches, maybe with no console, to like 78 inches. So when we say theater seats, they're not all the exact same
No.
seats.
So this one's a 72-inch, but it is a 2-seater because it's got a big kind of console in the middle with an armrest.
It's not a flip-up console.
No,
it's
it's
a
permanent.
solid console. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, the kitchen in this, another like move up on the Rockwood, on the mini lights. This one has a 3-burner propane stove with a true 21-inch propane oven. So this is one of our first good ovens in a trailer. And if that's a priority for you, this is a good way to go. It's an L-shaped kitchen. And I thought that was unusual in this floor plan, but it really works well.
Now the L-shaped kitchen, I'm like is that the right word? Ambivalent. I'm torn between L-shaped kitchen because while you get more counter space and you get more of a feeling of a kitchen, you also get part of the kitchen that goes across the floor of the trailer. So when the slide comes in and that L-shaped part of the kitchen, you're pretty much blocking any access to anything behind that L shape.
Yeah, it does make it more difficult to squeeze between the theater seat and the kitchen when the slide is in. And this is one of those slide rooms. It's a rack and pinion slide, which I think is the best kind. But you're not supposed to sit in it when the slide is in. And I know some of you are going to go, but I do it all the time.
Yeah.
Okay, your trailer, your rules, but when it breaks, don't come crying to me.
Yeah. So, I mean, I know that there are people who maybe don't even sit in it, but maybe they like crawl over the seats to get to the bathroom in the back or something. And in my opinion, I'm not putting any temporary excess weight, and I got excess weight. So I'm not putting that in a closed slide.
Yeah. And then this one has the bathroom all the way across the back. So it's a pretty big bathroom for a small trailer. So I really like the way Rockwood has used the space in this trailer. I thought it was really useful. I mean, you have a table, theater seat, you have the Murphy bed, a decent kitchen, and a really good bathroom. So, and then again, Rockwood in the mini light line uses a torsion axle suspension. It uses Goodyear endurance tires with tire pressure monitoring and nitrogen fill. There are balancing beads in the tires, so it checks pretty much all the boxes. So those are the 5. I've got a
that was
few.
5. Bye now. Just kidding.
No, I've got a few more to just
Bonus.
to put in your head, these are a little bit bigger because we said smaller trailers, and these are
Right.
not big trailers, but not super tiny trailers.
Yeah.
One of those is the Flagstaff MicroLite 22 FBS, which is the same floor plan as the Rockwood MiniLite 2205 that we traveled with for years and years.
Well, 2.
Okay, 2 years. That's years and years.
Years and years. Yeah, this was a great floor plan for us. We had a full solid bed, theater seat. Well, it came with theater seats in the slide, right? And then the kitchen on the campside and the bathroom in the corner in the back and the refrigerator right by the door. So some of the things we really liked about that was the refrigerator really close to the entry, the full-time bed. The theater seats were terrific, but what we found is we couldn't get any work done because they were so comfortable. We just would relax. And so we did some modification and we took those out and made it into a home office. But if you're not trying to work and you want comfort, then the theater seats in the slide were great.
Yep. Another one to look at, we have a full review and video, is the Lance 2075. Does not have a slide. And one last suggestion, the inTech OVR Navigate. And again, we have a full review of that. So a few more to look at. So that's 5 plus 3 smaller trailers.
Smaller and slightly less smaller.
Yeah, absolutely. So there you
All
go.
right.
You have anything that we should have included? Let us know in the show
We
notes.
would have had to talk longer.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe we'll do 5 almost little trailers another time.
Yeah. Or if you have a class we should look at, let us know. I mean, we're driven by your feedback and always appreciate it.
Absolutely. Okay, so Halloween is past. Boo-hoo. And all the other holidays are right on our tails. And 2 weeks ago, we asked you the question of the week. Did you scare up any Halloween plans in camping? And thank you of those of you who shared your camping plans and camping pictures, Halloween pictures. This week, we would like to ask you, is there an RVer on your holiday shopping list? You know, it is coming up to shopping season for the holidays. And over the next few weeks, we have been lining up some people to talk to that might give you some ideas if you need to shop for an RVer. And so over the next few weeks, we'll be kind of offering some shopping ideas, some gadget ideas, some RV related ideas that might help you with your shopping. And so stay tuned for all of those.
Yeah, as always, as we've said many times, we're happy to spend your money for you.
Absolutely.
And of course, you can answer that question at our fun and friendly Stressless Campers Facebook group. Ask your own questions, post pictures, whatever you like. People have been very polite there. Yes. That's how we like it.
It's a great group.
It really is.
But in order to remember that group and read these questions and, get the show notes and find out where Tony and I are camping, you need to sign up for the newsletter. If you're not already signed up, it's absolutely free. It's absolutely only one time a week. And you can sign up on any page of our website so that you can receive that newsletter and get all that great news.
Yeah, and unlike a lot of people, we only send once a week because we're lazy. So,
right.
Well, we're stressless camping.
That's right. We're busy camping. You can also, on the website, look for the show notes for this episode and all the episodes, but this one is episode 332. We will have links to the RV reviews of the trailers that we talked about and many, many, many other things.
And you can also check out our RV products and services page for our favorite things that you may need on your stressless camping adventure.
We are, of course, in all the social places. So once you've seen all those things on the website, hop off onto the social and go hang out with us there.
Of course, if you're an audio listener and you don't want to miss a future episode of the StressLess Camping Podcast, it is free to subscribe on any podcast app. And of course, we're saving you a seat around our virtual campfire. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to like and share. And we love your comments. All of that helps with YouTube telling other people, hey, this podcast might be worth listening to. So your likes and shares and comments.
I want to steal an idea from Brooks and say, would you please share with one friend?
Yeah.
Because, like sharing to everyone in the world might seem intimidating, but if you just tell one friend and they tell one friend, we'll be like a shampoo commercial.
And so on. Yeah. And of course, speaking of sharing with a friend, if you found something on our website that has served you well, please do share it with your friends on social media or whatever. It also helps us as well. So helps us to serve you. That's what it's all about. Like the hokey pokey.
Yeah. Well, thank you again for joining us for episode 332. We will see you next week from Romp It Up. And until that time,
Stressless camping.